For nearly 4 years now, Democratic leaders in Washington have claimed to want what's best for the economy, but done just about everything you can think of from a policy perspective to actually undermine the economy. Whether it's overwhelming businesses with red tape, burdening them with costly new health care laws, or punting on major economic decisions until after the election, Democrats have done everything you'd expect a party more focused on centralizing power in Washington than reviving a weak economy. And of course, we have the results to show for it. As a result of the Democrats' policy, we have fewer jobs today than the day the president took office. More signed up for disability assistance last month than got jobs. More people signed up for disability assistance last month than got jobs. And the percentage of Americans who actually can work but aren't is at the lowest point literally in decades. This is the sad legacy of this president's economic policies. And later today, we'll have a chance to cast a vote for more of the same, or a plan that will help us get off of this hamster wheel we've been on for the past 3.5 years. I'm referring, of course, to the very different proposals we'll vote on today for dealing with a looming tax hike coming in January. The Republican plan, which gives every American not only the certainty that their income taxes won't go up at the end of the year, but that Congress will deliver meaningful tax reform within a year, and the Democrat Senate plan, which raises taxes on 1 million small business owners at a moment when we're counting on them to create jobs, raise taxes on thousands of family farmers, and small business owners grieving the loss of a loved one. Leaves a middle-class tax hike in place and reforms absolutely nothing. We'd also like to vote on the president's plan, though it appears the Democratic friends will deny the president his vote. I'll leave it to others to explain the finer points of these plans, but one thing stands out. As I've indicated, the thing that stands out is the Democrats' proposal to raise the death tax. This is one of the bright ideas to revive the economy, to raise the death tax. It dramatically lowers the exemption level so more families actually get hit by it, and dramatically increases the amount of the tax itself. Under their plan, family members who inherit a farm or a ranch would have to write a check for 55% of the value of the property and equipment above $1 million, all but guaranteeing that tens of thousands of small and mid-sized family businesses across the country will be broken up and handed over to the government instead of passed on to the next generation. Now look, I know some Democrats will try to justify their vote on this stunningly bad proposal by saying they'll deal with the assault on family farms later. Wrong. The Democratic bill we'll vote on today, by not addressing the problem, makes the tax liability for these families even worse. A vote for the Democratic plan is to vote to put these farms and ranches literally out of business. There will be no standalone bill signed into law on the death tax, and anyone who says otherwise isn't being straight with the American people. But now there's one big difference between our plan and theirs. The most important difference is this. Only ours is aimed at helping the economy. Only ours is aimed at helping the economy. Only ours is meant to help struggling Americans in the midst of a historic jobs crisis. Theirs is meant to deflect attention from their continued failure to reverse this economic situation. Throughout this entire debate, not a single Democrat has come forward to claim that raising taxes on job creators will help the economy. Nobody's claiming that because it can't. The real motives are based on an ideological agenda, not an economic one. Now, ordinarily, Republicans would do everything we can to keep a plan as damaging as the Democrats' plan from passing. And the only reason we won't block it today is that we know it doesn't pass constitutional muster and won't become law because it didn't originate in the House. If the Democrats were serious, they'd proceed to a House-originated revenue bill as the Constitution requires. That said, the potential consequences of inaction on this issue are so grave that the American people deserve to know where their elected representatives really stand, truly stand on this issue. And so that's why, Mr. President, I'm announcing this morning Republicans will allow a simple majority vote on the two proposals I've described. And that's why we're also calling for a simple majority vote on the President's plan. He's the leader of the Democratic Party. He's been calling for a vote on his plan. I, for one, think we ought to give the President what he's asking for, a vote on his plan. So what I'm saying here this morning is we'll have a simple majority vote on the Senate Democratic plan, on the Republican plan to make sure no one's income taxes go up at the end of the year. And I would also recommend we have a simple majority vote on the President's plan. The only way to force people to take a stand is to make sure that today's votes truly count. By setting these votes at a 50-vote threshold, nobody on the other side can hide behind a procedural vote while leaving their views on the actual bill itself a mystery, a simple mystery to the people who sent them here. That's what today's votes are all about showing the people who sent us here where we stand. We owe it to the American people to let them know whether we actually think it's a good idea to double down on the failed economic policies of the past few years, or whether we support a new approach, whether we think it's a good idea to raise taxes on nearly 1 million business owners at a moment when millions of Americans are struggling to find work, or to do no harm and commit to future reform. 3 votes, 2 visions. 3 votes, 2 visions. The American people should know where we stand, and today they will.